The following is paid programming.
It's time to talk taxes.
New friends, new opportunities, new partners. EG Tax.
It's Ask the Tax Lady with Esther Gulius and EG Tax on News Radio 930 WBEN. To reach Esther now, call 803-0930. Toll free at 1-800-616-9236. And cell calls are free at star 930. And now, live from the WBEN studios, it's Esther Gulius.
Hey everybody, this is the Tax Lady, and we are going to talk taxes, and we're going to talk about how to make some extraordinary money. It's from an extraordinary guest that we have, but right now we have in studio Chris Fabian. Hey Chris.
Hello, Esther.
Hello, Christopher, and hello, Mrs. Fabian, Tiffany Fabian.
Hey there, Esther. Happy Saturday.
Well, and it's been wonderful, hasn't it?
Yeah, it's been glorious.
I know people that hate the heat hate this.
Oh,
but, you know,
it's sort of oppressive.
I don't know. To me, this looks better than a snow.
I was going to say, just in 5 months from now, people, I don't want to hear complaining that it's cold.
Yeah.
But they
will.
You know, people like to complain.
Yeah.
Of which, you know, and again, today we're going to tell you a way to make $500,000 tax-free every 2 years. And
That's
if that
right.
doesn't make you turn up your radio wherever you are, I mean, because what we're talking about today is the special tax treatment that real estate has. And, you know, how many people, Tiff and Chris, would you say come in, they want to save a little here, a little there. But this particular tax break, somebody can do every 2 years and really build up a phenomenal nest egg, because real estate is a highly favored commodity under the tax code.
Yeah, I know. I've watched you my whole life because you're my mom, and you've done an amazing job with real estate. I think not only because you know the benefit of it, but I think you also have a panache for it. I think that's partly your passion. You love to decorate and fix, and that's your thing. But it's been amazing, you know.
Well, I mean,
it's,
and the thing is, if you just do if you don't mind kind of moving and redoing it, and then you just keep HGTV on all the time and say, oh, I haven't done that yet. You know, you can do unbelievably well. And so this is what we're going to talk about this hour. We're going to talk about the benefits of real estate from a tax perspective. And then after the break, we have the number one real estate salesperson, a sales associate at Hunt Real Estate, Judy Jack Lewis, in studio, who will answer your questions about what to do. But let's first talk about some of the benefits of real estate from your personal home.
right. So the law says
highly beneficial.
The law says if you're a single person and you lived in the home for the last 2 out of 5 years, you don't have to report any gain unless you make more than $250,000 in gain on that sale. If you're a married couple, same thing, 2 out of the last 5 years, but it goes up to $500,000. You don't have to report any gain. Tax-free. That's cool.
Like tax-free.
Yeah.
Federal and state.
Right. Pretty cool. Pretty cool.
I mean,
unheard of.
So you have to pay the U-Haul or the movers every few years. If you can make money off your personal residence, think about that. Tax-free.
And, you know, people would say, oh, well, this is Buffalo. You can't do that around here.
Oh, but
well,
Judy's gonna tell us.
I was just going to say how the housing market has changed in
Amen.
Buffalo in the last
for
4
sure.
years.
And then the other thing, personal residence, is your mortgage interest is fully deductible, provided it isn't over $1 million, right?
Right.
There's not too many mortgages over $1 million, I think, in Western New York. And the property taxes are still deductible, albeit it's capped, right? But it's still deductible. And here's the other unbelievable
But it's
thing.
not capped on New York.
Right, it's not capped on New York. Thanks, Tiff.
Yeah.
And here's the other thing. You can borrow most of the money to get into the investment.
Right.
I mean, that just goes to show you what a good deal it is.
Yeah,
right?
I was talking to one of my clients the other day, and he wants to buy a house, and he wanted to take $25,000 out of his pension. And I said, that's going to cost you like, $10,000 in taxes. And I said, not a good move. Borrow the money. And he goes, yep, I just needed to hear that. I'm glad I called you first. So borrow the money than
That's
take
right.
it.
It's always good to run things by us from that perspective.
Right.
All right. And then the other things, investment real estate. So that's personal real estate. Investment real estate has no cap on property taxes.
That's right.
Unlike the $10,000 cap for the SALT deduction. You can use it personally for 14 days or 10% of the time rented, whichever is greater. It's a great tax shelter because with the depreciation, you end up many times losing money, and it saves you money against your other income, right?
That's right.
When you decide to get out of it, you can exchange it for another piece of property, even outside the area that you can ultimately, in a couple years, move into yourself and really defer the taxes forever.
That's right.
And again, you can borrow the money to get in. Now, it's not as favored as personal, but it's still highly favored. And then finally, real estate is a capital gain. And so you pay a lot of taxes on capital gains, right, Chris?
Oh, you could.
No, but
I mean, if you're in the 12% bracket or lower, you pay no capital gains.
So
if you're
you sell the property, if it's not a residence, if it's real estate, if it's a lot, it's not your. And if you're in the 12% bracket or lower, you pay 0% taxes on the sale.
Right.
How about if you're you're a highly compensated person? What's the maximum you're going to pay?
The maximum is 20%.
But if you're in the max, you'd pay how much otherwise?
15.
Almost 30, what? No.
Oh, 37%.
Okay.
If you're in the third highest tax bracket, which is 37.
And plus you got that kicker too for the FICA.
Right,
So
right.
You're paying almost 40%. So when people go, oh, I got the capital gains, you should be happy because the capital gains maximum is 20%, whereas regular income can go up to almost 40%. So capital gains are highly favored. And then again, you can buy it with other people's money, because it's a good investment. Even the bank thinks it's a good investment.
Right, and that's why they're willing to do it. I mean,
That's right.
if they think, if you go for a personal loan and you get turned down, it's because they say, no, you're not worth
collateral.
it. No collateral. A house, they think, I'm always going to get my money back, so we're going to...
if you're a vet, you can get it with 0% down. Now, Judy's going to talk to us after the break about some of the expenses that these loans have, but basically, they're going to borrow you the money so you can get in. If you do not own property, or if you're somebody has been kind of thinking about maybe I should sell it, I'm going to tell you, make hay while the sun shines. And I think the sun is shining, isn't it? Right? and the real estate market in Western New York is phenomenal. So we're going to take a short break. We're going to be back on the other side with our special guest, Judy Jack Lewis from Hunt Real Estate. She's the #1 sales associate in Hunt for 2 years in a row. Smart lady, and she just happens to be beautiful as well. So we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with Judy Jack Lewis on the other side.
It just takes some time, little girl, and a little hop to ride.
And I'm Esther Gillius, the tax lady. We're talking how to make money tax-free in real estate, and we have a special guest. And by the way, our phone number in studio, if you want to ask Judy a lot of questions, or us, 803-0930, 803-0930, star 930 on a cell phone. You can text us at 3930. And Judy Jack Lewis, we just thank you for joining us today in studio. Judy, you've been #1 at Hunt for 2 years in a row, right?
Yes, Esther, it's such an honor, but I do work hard. But
I know
it's
you
great
do.
to
Well,
be
I know.
on the show.
I mean, if you sometimes I know you catch yourself coming and going.
Even today,
I like that,
today I
Esther.
was out showing all day before I got here, and I have one more when I
Sweltering.
leave.
It's sweltering,
It's
right?
very hot outside today, but,
Yeah, but
Esther, the market is just on fire.
Okay, let's talk about that. I mean, there are, we just try, the reason I did this first part, Judy, to let everybody know about the tax benefits, because I can't think of anything else where the federal government says, go on, live in it, and then if you sell it, the first $500,000 is tax-free. I mean, it's unbelievable. So this is an opportunity not only to live someplace, but to have it have highly favored tax benefits. So tell me about the housing market, personal residences. What's the inventory like? How are things out in the lake there?
Well, the problem is we just don't have enough homes. There's not enough inventory right now. So, I mean, it's good for sellers because they're getting maybe too much money for their house now because there's just nothing out there. And
Well, if you're a seller, they're going to be sad.
Exactly. I listed a house in Snyder on Thursday evening, and I already have, it's funny, I had 3 offers when I got to the studio, and I just looked at my messages. I have 5 now. So this is kind of the way it's going, and people are trying to do anything they can to get a house because there's just not enough of them out there. For example, people are waiving home inspections. Do I recommend that? No, but are they doing it? Yes. You know, people are coming, they're getting pre-qualified, and we have something at Hunt Mortgage. I work a lot with Nancy Caleri Frank at Hunt Mortgage, and she's doing something called a pre-purchase commitment. And it means you're already qualified. It's not a pre-qual, but you're qualified. So it's very helpful. And I am seeing some people trying to do
offer,
cash.
right?
I'm seeing people trying to put in cash offers and then take a mortgage like a month later.
Right. Wow. Okay, so if you're somebody that has been toying with selling your house, why is it that more people aren't listing their houses? What do you think, Judy?
I don't know. I'm really not sure of the answer to that. But, you know, I've had people that are building that need 6 months, and they're selling their houses now because it's so hot, and they'll get more money now than they will like in October or November. And then they're even going to rentals. There's several places, you know, in Buffalo that will do like a 3-month rental, 3 to 6 month rental.
Okay,
So that's a
I'm
good
Esther
thing.
Golias, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and you can text us at 3930. We have Judy Jack Lewis in studio. She is the #1 selling sales associate concierge at Hunt Real Estate. She knows her properties. Give us a call if you have any questions, and I know we have Mark from Buffalo holding.
Hey, Mark.
Hey, Mark.
Hi. I have a rental property that I'm thinking of selling in Buffalo, and trying to get an answer on capital gains. I'm 65. I have a disability pension, disability Social Security, so I have very little income, taxable income, but I've talked to people, and some people said I have to pay 20%, and some people say I have to pay 30%. So I wonder if you could...
So besides your disability, your Social Security disability, you don't have a pension or any, you have your rental and you have your Social Security, correct?
I do have a pension, disability pension from work.
And how much is that, may I ask, Mark?
Yeah, it's about $70,000.
Okay, so, all right, so give them the bad news.
And that's a disability, regular disability pension. That's not like through the military where it's tax-free.
Oh, it is.
It's-
It's from the city of Buffalo.
Okay.
All right,
Okay.
it's a city
City-
pension, so it's
okay.
tax-free on the state, taxable on the federal.
Chris is saying no, right, Chris?
No, I mean, depending on the type of...
Were you a firefighter?
I was a policeman.
Were you injured on the job?
Yeah, I've had...
Okay, so then it is tax-free.
Yep.
Okay.
So then
All right, so
how...
now we established that.
Yep.
Okay.
Now, how long have you owned the house for?
Since 1981.
Okay, so fully
Fully
depreciated.
depreciated. What is it worth?
One down the street just sold for a little over 3, so 310, 312.
And this is a duplex?
It's a double, yes.
And you live in half?
No.
Okay. So,
So the whole 300,000 just about is going to be taxable.
yep.
And so you will pay upwards
About-
of, and you're not getting any Social Security, right?
Oh, I do. I get Social Security disability also.
Okay, so we have Social Security, your pension, which is completely tax-free, and this. So he's going to be marching up to paying, he'll pay something he'll pay some taxes.
Oh, I know I got to pay some taxes. It's just I don't know if they're 15%, 20%, 30%. I've been told from different people who...
Well, New York, there's no avoiding New York tax on it, so that's going to be about 8%.
Okay.
but will all be taxable. The federal, there will be the recapture depreciation, but then the capital gains as well. So I would say probably roughly, without pen to paper right now, I'd say easily 25% to the federal.
Okay, 25% to federal plus 8% to the state.
Yep. Now, do you want another rental property?
No, I'm
Okay, so are you familiar with the exchanges, though, and how that works, Mark?
about that, and there was a bunch of restrictions you had to have.
You'd be surprised. I mean, are you thinking of getting an investment property anywhere, or are you just going to put the money in stocks or investments in that way?
To put in stocks and to supplement my income, but I just I can't do any of the work myself anymore, and I can't find.
Okay, now so look at this. With state and federal, we're looking at taxes about $90,000. All right. So if you were to do an exchange, for instance, let's say that you exchanged it for a piece of property that ultimately you'd like to live in, but you do the exchange for a couple of years, you rent it, then you can move into it, and you would have deferred the gain completely until you ultimately sell again. So something you might want to talk to Russ Gullo about. At least investigate it, because you should not make a decision based upon a telephone
and
call
another thing
on the
is
radio.
Free of charge. I think you should come in and sit with Chris or I at the office so we can show him pen to paper what it would cost him to sell that rental.
Okay.
Okay,
And
no charge though, Mark.
632-7886. Just
Is
call
our
to
phone
make an
number.
appointment.
Yeah. Okay. Hey, thanks for calling. I'm Esther Gilius, the tax lady from EG Tax. 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and you can text us at 3930. All right, okay, so Judy, how do we get people to sell their houses?
Well, I think, first of all, they have to realize that there's never been a better time. But, a lot of people that are thinking about it, then they call me and they ask me what they should do to get ready. So, I have a few ideas for them. One is, when you're going to sell, get a fresh coat of paint. Sometimes people need a stager, but I tell people to start decluttering and getting ready to have the house, because the way you sell your house is not the way you live. And that's the hardest part for people, because they'll say, well, these are my things. These are my pictures, my family photos. And, sometimes people have a lot of clutter, but they're used to living with it, so they don't realize it.
Now, when you list a house, do you actually walk through the house and you say to the seller, I would suggest you do such and such, I would suggest you do such and such?
Yes. Sometimes there's minor repairs. There might be, cracks in the ceiling, but, I tell them, and actually one of the things that I've really been recommending lately is I have a wonderful home inspector. His name is Walter Oldenburg with Field Tech Inspections. He does a pre-inspection. So he comes through the house and looks at it, everything that could be wrong with it. And
For just the seller,
yes,
right?
do it for yourself.
Which is a great time to do it, because the seller, before it's got a contract, and then it's contingent upon the home inspection.
Right,
The
and
seller
then
can fix this stuff so it's not a problem later.
Exactly, and he can tell you. Then they can take care of any safety issues, because safety issues have to be dealt with. If there's electrical problems or double taps, or let's say the electric box might be out of date in some of the older homes. It's something, and so what he does is he provides a book, a full home inspection book, so you could take care of the things that are wrong and leave that book on your kitchen counter when you're showing the house, and then people will see you've had a home inspection. It doesn't mean that I wouldn't recommend they have their own home inspection, because you could have 5 home inspections and every one of them could find different little things.
Right. But that's a great idea, because you don't want it to become a bone of contention when you're waiting for the mortgage to approve, right?
Exactly. And, another thing is I always tell people the front door. And, sometimes you walk up to the front door and the house is peeling, the doors, the windows aren't clean. So I tell people to have the windows done on the inside and outside. Make sure the front door is very appealing, so people want to go in. Like at this weather, you can put beautiful pots of flowers as long as you water them.
Right. But
But people drive by and they're looking at that.
Right, that's the first thing
Yep.
you see is the front door.
But here's the thing. Obviously, let's say that somebody says, "Oh, I just don't feel like I'm not putting any more money into my house," so that's that home owner. And then, but somebody that says, "Yeah, I think I'll put 3,000 or 4,000 into the house, make it really nice," that second person might have multiple offers.
Yes.
And they would get an offer much higher than they would have gotten than if they were like that first guy who says, "Well, I don't care. They take it or leave it."
Right, exactly. And then I tell people that have too much wallpaper, if you can get that wallpaper down and paint it a neutral color, that's what's selling. And if you have too many things in the house and you really don't know what to do with all this stuff, and maybe you don't know what you want to get rid of yet, I tell them to rent a storage unit
That's true.
and get everything out of there that you don't want people looking at.
Right, because it's a very pragmatic kind of thing. You have to look at it as something that you want. It's like going into a store. You can go into a store and it's a mess, or you can go into a store that's got everything all shiny, and you feel better shopping at that
Right.
place.
Yeah,
know,
which
and-
brings me
and
to
then what's-
landscaping too. Landscaping's so important. Make sure the grass is cut and the landscaping is trimmed and there's no weeds, because that's what people are looking at.
All right, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady. We have Judy Jack Lewis here from Hunt Real Estate. We're talking, this lady can make you money. And let's face it, the bottom line is you want to make sure you get the biggest bang for the buck when you're selling your house, because many people are going to reinvest into another house.
And on the other side, we'll talk to Maria.
All right, we're going to take a short break. We'll be back with your calls on the other side. Hey, I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady. We're talking real estate with real estate guru and professional Judy Jack Lewis. She's the number one sales professional at Hunt Real Estate, 2 years running. We just thank Judy for being in the studio, and we're going to go to Maria, who's been such a patient waiter. Hi, Maria. How can we help you?
Hi, how are you?
Good. How can we help you?
Well, I've noticed a lot of houses in my neighborhood are going up for sale and then they're closing within a week. And I was wondering, maybe this might be a good time to get out of the neighborhood. And I was wondering, if I sell my house, should I look at the Zillow situation? Because it just doubled up my house from when I bought it 9 years ago. Do I go based on that, or what do I do so I can sell my house?
Well, I would suggest
Maximize so she can get the
the
bang
first
for a
thing I would
buck.
suggest is, call me and we'll schedule an appointment. I'll come over and sit with you. And what I do is a very nice marketing plan for you to show you, what the current sales are in the neighborhood and the value. And it's so important to ask the right money for the house, because if you ask too much, it'll sit there. And if you ask the right price, you'll probably get multiple offers.
Is that a good
especially, yeah.
idea, though, to look at the competition in the neighborhood? I think
Yes.
so. I mean,
yes,
that's
because
what.
if I sold your house tonight, a real estate appraiser will come and look at comps from 1 year back and 1 mile around.
Mm-hmm.
So that's exactly what I do when I come out to your house. I do 1 year back, 1 mile around, and show you comparable homes, square footage wise, bedrooms, bathrooms, and that's how we do it. What neighborhood are you in?
I am in Sanborn, which is actually considered Lewiston.
Yes,
But they actually have it listed incorrectly on Zillow. They're saying I have like a 2-bedroom split level, but I actually have 4 bedrooms and 2 baths. So how do I know?
Well, I wonder if you could contact Zillow yourself.
You can correct it on Zillow. If you're the homeowner, you can go in and correct the listing.
Oh.
Okay.
So when you go in there, it'll ask if you're the homeowner, and if you are, then they let you correct it. Are you also, Judy? Do you also use Zillow to show your listings?
I do have, all of my listings are on Zillow as well. So people are looking, on the internet much more than like publications in this day and age.
Yeah.
And so everyone's looking on Zillow, Trulia, Realtor.com, in the ML, and HuntRealEstate.com.
I mean, because Maria's right. People are doing, obviously, multiple offers nowadays. And so,
And that'll drive the price up.
yeah, and that
That's
drives, right.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So anyway, Maria, Judy's phone number is 868-6393.
Okay, perfect. Thank you.
All right, thanks for calling. I'm Esther Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone, and our texting number is 3930. I will tell you, it's an absolute, you know, it's like saying I got a field full of vegetables here, and I'm going to wait before I harvest them. Harvesting your house right now is a good idea, is it not, Judy?
Oh, for sure, for sure.
Because there's not lots of inventory out there.
There's just so many buyers out there right now, and not enough houses to sell. So
Well,
it's a good
is there
time.
any good? All right, so let's say I'm selling my house. How hard is there? Is there any good deals out there, or is it just like on HGTV? You go buy the diamond in the rough and put money into it.
Well, there's some good deals out there, like a house that might need a lot of updates or a lot of work. I am seeing a lot of people doing flips, and where they go in and redo the whole house, and they try to do it in a year and sell it again.
Okay, so if people want to get a hold of you, they would call you at 868-6393.
That's correct, right?
And you're at 4363 Main Street, right?
That's right. Our office is right on Main Street in Snyder.
Okay. All right, so now what kind of things should people be aware of once they get their house sold?
Are you saying like, so the next step after,
I mean,
after the
so
house
they get
is
an
sold?
offer, and
Yes,
then
so-
what happens?
So you get the house sold, and then you have 3 days for attorney approval. So both sides have, the buying side and the selling side have 3 days for attorney approval, and usually 5 to 7 days for a home inspection. And after the home inspection, then you have to get an agreement together, you know, to, if there's no repairs, then you're all set. Then usually closing time is usually 45 to 60 days, but I'm seeing more 60 days right now because it's so busy.
Yep,
Okay.
and you got to keep up the house
And
because there's always
absolutely.
the final inspection
You
and
keep all the utilities on, you keep the grass cut, the flower, you know, you take care of it just because when people close, about 1 to 2 days before you close, we have what's called a final walkthrough. So the clients come back with their agent and they walk through the house and they turn all the water on, flush all the toilets, check the basement to make sure there's no water or
Crawl
anything
space.
wrong.
Right.
So, you know, you have to keep the house up until you close. And
Right,
you have to
Tiff,
keep
you had
the
a question.
utilities
I
on.
do. There's a text question. It says, Judy, I inherited a house from my parents. Can the house be sold as is? I haven't lived in the house for over 40 years. I don't know if anything is wrong with it. Can I be held responsible for not disclosing something that may be wrong? Thanks. Please give me your phone number before you leave Esther's show.
Okay, so first of all, I want to tell you that when you inherit a house and you sell it, you don't have to fill out a property condition disclosure, which is everything you know about the house. So you are not responsible. And I would love to work with you. And my telephone number is 716-868-6393.
And today, in today's market, are things being sold as is without people fixing it?
Many times, as long as we price it, you know, competitively.
And probably when people are walking through, you can couch it and say, you know, this is somebody that was
You know,
deceased and they
I just
inherited
had a
it.
house like this, and it was an estate, and we priced it competitively. We did end up with multiple offers, but a lot of the young people today are happy to buy a house like this because they want to make it their way.
Theirs.
They don't want to
Yeah.
buy your kitchen that's 15 years old. They want to do the kitchen, do the bathrooms.
now you said because it's an inherited house they don't have to do the disclosure form.
Right.
How long do they have of ownership before they would have to do the disclosure?
Well, they have to live in the house. So if they've
So
never
if they
lived in
never,
the house,
it could be vacant for
yeah,
2
and it's not
years.
their
That's a
house.
really good question.
Right, exactly. It is a good question.
Yeah. But you're right. They want to make it their own.
Okay, so is the whole area, Erie, Niagara, Chautauqua, all just hot, or is there like real
Well, you know,
pockets of,
I'm
wow,
finding
I can't believe it.
Snyder, Amherst, East Amherst, Clarence, the city of Buffalo, they're all on fire right now.
Who would have thought the
I
city
know.
of Buffalo?
I know,
you
exactly.
That's so cool.
All right, how are the appraisals coming in? I mean, with such an increase in value, are the appraisers able to keep up with the changes?
You know, I do believe they are because there's just enough comps for them to comp it out and make sure it appraises because they're going higher.
Okay, and so what rate are mortgages going for right now?
So right now, the 30-year rate is 3.7 and the 15-year rate is 3.2, which is great.
Oh, my
It's still
gosh.
fantastic.
Oh my gosh! Now, how much we got to put down?
Well, it depends. I mean, I've seen people with 5% down. I've seen people with 100% down.
Well, I mean, can you get a mortgage with 5%?
You can, and I've seen 100 people mortgaging 100%.
There's banks doing 100%?
Mm-hmm. It's
Well,
really
I mean,
it's
now
incredible.
think about that from an investment standpoint.
I
But you
know.
must have I'm assuming they have strong credit.
Yeah, well, and there's a lot of young people just starting out, so they're making money, but they don't have money,
Wow,
so they can afford the payments.
Okay,
but,
Tiff, you got another one?
I do. Another text question. It says, if I stay in my home, what percentage of the value of the home should go towards renovating for master bathroom and kitchen? That's an interesting question.
what
Well, that's because they
percent?
say that's what people care about, right?
Right. The kitchen.
Those
Yeah.
are the two things that people are really looking for. I don't know what percent.
What percent? So okay, let's say you had $50,000 for renovating. If of that 50,000, would you put the preponderance into the
the
kitchen
kitchen or
and the
the bathroom?
bathroom?
Yes. Yes.
So I mean, it
Yes,
could go
sir.
as far as 60%, 70.
And the mechanics are important as well.
Yeah.
The roof,
the heater,
the hot water tank, the furnace, the central air conditioning.
Yes. Yes.
So-
Now, is there anything out there for people that are maybe less than stellar credit, as far as a mortgage goes?
I believe there's ways. You probably pay a higher rate though.
Well, I know next week we have on Jesse from
Cross-state
Cross-state
funding.
Funding.
Oh, that's great.
We have
That'll
so
be
this
great.
is a good segue. Jesse on, and it wasn't intentional. Jesse from Cross-state Funding, he's on, and he's got. We send people to him all the time if they have less than optimal credit. They look at their credit report and they find ways to contact the people with their credit and make modifications with their credit, and they're wonderful to deal with.
That's important.
Yeah. Yeah.
Now,
So,
I have a follow-up to the text question.
So
you know,
do I.
you see all these shows on HGTV, Chip and Joanne, and all Fixer, all these other. When, like, if you put 30,000 into a kitchen, are you going to get 30,000 out, or are you only going to get 25,000 out of it? I mean, is there something? You know what I
think it
mean? Is there a
depends
rule
on
of
the
thumb?
Neighborhood. It depends on the recent sales. It depends on the listing price.
well, that's what I was
You
going to
may
say.
get it out.
With this tax question, we don't know what the other conditions of the house is. And I think Judy raises a really good point. So if the furnace doesn't work and the hot water doesn't work and the plumbing doesn't work,
Who
then
cares if you got a nice kitchen?
who cares if you have a nice
Exactly.
kitchen?
It
So you
depends
need
on
to know
the
the
rest of the
whole
condition.
picture.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But I will say this, people have to look at they should look at their house, don't you think, objectively? I like to come through my own house like I pretend I've never seen it before, so that you can look at your own house objectively, because you're right, Judy, you live there and you think, oh, I think that bedspread looks good, that nice orange and purple bedspread. I mean,
Right.
sometimes those little things that you could do to make it look better really ups the ante as to interest in the amount that people are going to pay for it.
Exactly.
I think
tell
you said
people
that when
I
you-
tell people to start packing up like you're moving, because you are moving, and go and buy the plastic bins at Target or Walmart, and pack away the things that you don't
Clean.
need.
How about clean out? You may have a big closet, but if it's jam packed,
Can't see
it
the
doesn't
space.
show big.
And then you can't
so
see the space.
Take out the winter clothes if it's summertime. Make it look bigger.
Exactly.
Because women love big closets, is
Right,
what I'm told.
Right, exactly.
Sounds like you're
That's
talking
right.
from experience. But I think Judy started by the whole show by saying you've been living in the house and you really don't have a good recollection of what it looks like. You started by saying that.
Exactly, because we live with our stuff. Even when I sold my own house, I stepped away and looked at it in a different way. We took all the family pictures down. We packed away all the knickknacks and trinkets that we've had that mean something to us.
Because people want to envision them being in the house next, right?
I'm
Exactly.
Esther
So-
Gullius, the tax lady from EG Tax, 8030930, 8030930, star 930 on a cell phone. You can text us at 3930. We have special guest in this week, Judy Jack Lewis. She's the #1 sales associate at Hunt Real Estate 2 years in a row. She knows real estate, and I will tell you, I've known Judy a long time. She's a consummate professional, and she's somebody that gets a job done. My mother always said, ask a busy person to get the job done, because they can get it done. And it's true. She just is like a well-oiled machine, And that's really what you want. You want somebody that knows the market, that can help you that can give you those pointers when you're listing it, when you're selling it, buying a new home. And Judy's also hooked up with your own mortgage company there, right?
Yes, we have Hunt Mortgage, and I deal with Nancy Clary Frank, and she's wonderful. She's been doing it for over 25 years, and she's very attentive, and you can reach her anytime, any day, 7 days a week. She's wonderful.
All right, I'm Esther Gillies, the tax lady. We're going to take a short break. We'll be back on the other side. Esther Gillies, the tax lady from EG Tax. We're talking about such a tax-favored investment, and that would be capital gains, but especially real estate, and especially personal real estate that you live in. You can live in it 2 out of the last 5 years, and up to $500,000 of the gain is tax-free, federal and state. If you're filing a joint return, $250,000 if you're single. Yes.
Sorry, I had a question for Judy.
Oh, go, Chris.
Okay. With us doing taxes, we see the solar credit, and people, I'm buying solar. Are houses with solar selling better than houses without? Are they getting money for having solar? You know what I mean? Is it worth it on your end that you see?
I haven't seen too many of them that have it, but I think it would be a plus. I mean, it's the seller that's putting the investment of that into it, and buyers, it's
But
their
there's
advantage.
also upkeep and maintenance, and if you have to put a new roof on, you got to take down all of that solar panels before you put the new roof on.
I heard it's almost like an in-ground pool. It depends on the buyer.
Exactly.
So let me ask you this, Judy. Have you ever had somebody, when it came to the inspection and everything, and they're doing all this stuff, and the bottom line, after they looked at what the expenses were going to be, that they just said, no, I'm not going to sell?
The expenses, the transfer
The
tax,
expenses
the
is-
commission.
No, not really, but I do think it's good for people to know. I do deal with this on the first appointment with everybody because I want them to know what they're in for, because they have to pay, real estate commission, they have to pay transfer tax. And
real
it's
estate
$9 per
lawyer.
thousand transfer tax, and it's $4 per thousand if you're over 62 years of age. And you have to pay your attorney fees and, some disbursements as well. So that's on the sell side. And on the buy side, you have to pay 1 year of taxes, and you have to put 1 year of taxes in escrow. And you have to pay attorney fees.
But just like our caller, Maria, she said her house is like tripled since she owned it. So, hey, is there a cheaper, does it cost you to look for a less expensive real estate agent, or are they all relatively the same price?
Well, I think it cost you, but I've had
I know.
a very
That's
good
kind of putting
success.
Judy on the spot.
Yes, I've had a
but
very
I
good
understand
success
people
rate.
will say,
Yeah.
they say to us all the time, should we use TurboTax? Oh, sure, use TurboTax.
Right, I know what you
know.
mean.
Yeah.
Because the truth is, these are complicated. It's a complicated deal to sell a house, let's face it. And if you really want the best that you can get, you want to get the best.
Right. Right. Absolutely. And then pre-qual letters. Could my daughter, if she was looking for a house today and she came to you, could she go look at a house without having a pre-qualification letter?
She could, but I wouldn't take her. I would tell her the first thing I would want someone to do is get the pre-qual letter, because a lot of times, people can afford X amount of dollars for the house, but then they didn't realize that they have to put the 1 year of taxes in escrow.
Right.
They didn't realize the attorney fees. They didn't realize the cost of moving.
Right.
Hiring a mover is not cheap.
So you can.
That's very kind of you as a realtor to think about the seller. The seller's got to go clean the house, and if the person that they're showing it to isn't pre-qualified, that just made the seller go through all kinds of gymnastics.
Sure.
And the person that they did that for couldn't afford the house.
Esther, I have a text question.
Okay, let's do that text.
It says, Judy, so before you buy a house, is it wrong, or can you find out about the neighbors who live next door to you? So
That's touchy. I don't really think you can.
Okay.
I mean, you could probably ask the seller if
Right.
everybody
Well,
gets along
yeah,
well.
yeah.
I mean, you never really know. It's
Right.
a very hard question.
Right. I know that gosh, some of my clients have told me some crazy stories, right, Chris?
Oh yeah, you know everybody has a crazy neighbor.
Well,
Hey,
I think it's a good idea just to buy a
Chris,
house on an
your
acre of land.
neighbors- Your neighbors are going to be TPing your house. While
I
you're
didn't say
on the
which
show.
one of my neighbors. I just, but
Or
I
neither.
mean, with everybody we see, you always hear, "Oh, my one neighbor does this. My one neighbor does, complains that my dog barks at 8 in the morning," and or
On the flip side, I have a lot of people that say, I want to live on this street. I want to get a bigger house because we go away together. We have
Yeah.
parties together.
Yeah.
We have, summer block
Or they'll
parties.
watch my house when we're gone.
So a lot of neighborhoods, they're getting along really well.
Yeah.
That's true.
Not all, though.
That is true. That is true. But people are people, right?
Yep.
I mean,
exactly.
you get some good ones and some not so good ones.
And then, Jude, you wanted to announce that you have a partner. She's
Yes,
really sort of
yes.
been your partner
So
for
I've had a
7
partner
years.
For 7 years, but now she really is a full partner, and her name is Wendy Nalon, and she's just wonderful because my business has grown. For example, she's out showing homes right now because I'm on the radio.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
She's wonderful. Without her, I could not do the volume that I've been doing.
And it's good to have somebody you can trust.
Yes.
Yeah.
She's
Because I think, like Esther said, the thing is you do things and you do it with excellence. And so if you have a
And
partner,
because she knows what to do.
Yes.
So many times it's like if you have somebody learning at your expense, they aren't at their prime. But you are.
Yes,
you
she's
are,
terrific,
You're,
and
you're in the airport. Your pictures in the airport. My gosh, how many people can say that, right?
It's been a great spot, but anyway.
But okay, so for people listening, if you're selling a home, for the main thing is declutter,
Yes, declutter.
right? What would a second thing would be fix up the front of your house?
Yeah, fix up the front, repaint
Landscape,
some of the
flowers.
walls if they need to take wallpaper down. I mean, wallpaper is coming back in, but not the wallpaper, the flocked
From the
wallpaper
70s?
from the 70s.
and hey, with real estate being so hot in Western New York, is winter still an okay time, bad time to sell a house, or now does it not matter?
Honestly, I've been busy all year round for the
Wow.
last few years, so I don't think it's a bad time, but I do think this is the best time if you're trying to look for those multiple offers.
And school
All right,
districts
and
matter.
then Judy, who would you say should think about selling? I mean, who is your typical? Do you have a typical seller? Is it somebody that's approaching retirement?
Yeah, a lot of
or is it
people-
somebody just
yes.
upperly mobile?
I think a lot of people that have raised their children, and now some of the children have moved out of town or they're still in town. That's the time maybe to start thinking of scaling down to a patio home or a smaller ranch home. So that's one market. And then trying to think who else.
Probably people who need bigger houses,
Right.
more houses,
Yes.
more house.
Exactly. There's a lot of first-time buyers that are now
Give
looking
me an
for.
idea what the typical, is there a typical like rancher, 3-bedroom, bath and a half rancher like in Kenmore, Tonawanda?
How much it sells for?
Yeah, what's the average amount?
Oh, maybe like 175.
I mean, do you know
200.
how unbelievable that hurts my head? I can't even believe that.
Yeah.
Some of the houses in North Buffalo, I can remember when when my husband and I used to have real estate, we bought them for $35,000, and now they're selling for a lot.
It's unbelievable the way the market's gone up. Exactly. And
Well,
then in
anyway, if
Amherst, those-
you are looking to put your house on the market, if you haven't even thought about it, is it good for them to talk to you?
Sure.
If they're in a conundrum, they're not sure what to do.
Exactly. I'm happy to go out and meet with them for free and just discuss next steps.
Hey, are open houses a good idea, Jude?
Well, some people don't want an open house. They
Right.
don't want everybody on the street going through the house. But I have had very
you
good
go.
luck with them because, people come in that are neighbors, and I don't mind the neighbors coming in because they know people.
Yeah.
Right.
And I had someone come in last year to a patio home, and he kind of walked across the street, sheepishly walked in and said, I live across the street. I said, fine, come on in.
Right.
He said, well, my aunt is looking for a
Ah,
patio home.
there you go.
Do you know that he brought her back at 2:00? It was 1 to 3, and she bought it at 5:00.
Wow.
So
Plus,
I'm
I mean-
fine with
So
open
if you're
houses.
somebody that's thinking about maybe, and again, we've already told you, you could sell it if it was your personal home for free. The gain is free. You get to have the money and you don't have to buy another house. It's free. Free money, free taxes. Call Judy at 716-868-6393. And you have a website, right, Judy?
Yes, it's judyjacklewis.com.
And who better to have as your neighbor than a relative? I'm thinking of that other house,
exactly,
right?
Exactly.
Yep. Because
okay, so 868-6393 is Judy's phone number. You can get her at Judy Jack Lewis at Hunt. She's the number one sales professional 2 years in a row
And-
at Hunt on Main Street in Amherst.
And I just want to say, if you get a letter from the IRS or New York State, don't forget, don't answer it yourself. Make
Give
sure
us
you
a
call
call.
us before you answer any letters.
And again, if you have any questions during if you just even want to call us and say, if I sell my house, like that one guy, how much taxes am I going to pay? We'll work it all up for you so you'll know exactly.
I wanted to say, we had somebody who called us the other day. He listened to the talk show and the show, and he says, "Can I really call with a question?" And he's selling his house, and it's on 60 acres, and he's selling land, and then the second
house.
sale is timber. And so his real estate agent told him that was one transaction, and he didn't have to pay capital gains. But actually, that's two transactions.
Right, and he wrote me. I told him.
See?
Because I answer those things. He said, so if I do this, it's taxable.
Yeah. But his
So,
lawyer
but
said
the
no.
personal residence portion wouldn't be. But if you're selling land, if you subdivide it, if you're selling land, then that's different than a personal residence.
Right.
With taxes, there's always some part of the loophole that you
And
got to
if-
make sure you tighten up.
And if you want to learn the loopholes, our
If you
tax
wanna come
code.
to our tax school. We have this great tax school that starts in October, and we keep you off the streets during the blizzards, So again, you can go to our website at egtax.com. Ask the tax lady. If you need Judy, her phone number again is 868-6393. And Judy, I presume you have like 12 places you got to go this afternoon.
You got it. I
Well,
love
we
my job,
really
though,
do
so it's fun.
appreciate
Keeps me
everything.
busy.
Is there last words of wisdom you want to leave Western New York with?
Last words of wisdom. Now is the time. Please,
Yep.
we need inventory. Call me. I need listings.
That's great.
There you go.
868-6393. Judy, we thank you so much for being our special guest. Next week, I guess we have a mortgage company that is not with Hunt, but they do a great job with cross-state funding. So if you have children, grandchildren, if you're having troubles qualifying for a mortgage, cross-state is absolutely great. They've done wonderful things for our people with problems, right? Tiff, Chris? Okay, I'm Esther Golias, the tax lady. Until next week, I'm Esther Golias with Christopher Fabian, Tiffany Fabian, our special guest, Judy Jack Lewis. Have a great weekend, and see you next week. Bye-bye.